Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is quite different from anything I've uploaded in the past, but since the tomb has been out for 2 weeks, I feel like it's a good time to give my honest review. I'd like to post some more zombies content in the future, so if you want to see more, like and subscribe, and let's get into the review. Just to start off, this map doesn't have too much in it compared to everything else we have so far. It's a smaller map and can't have side Easter eggs laying everywhere, and fairly, there's only so much you can do in how fast this map was released after Citadel. I don't know how long this map was under development, but in my opinion, I think that this map is very well done for how fast it was released. It definitely had a lot of effort put into it, but yes, it is undercooked, but that's completely understandable because of how fast the turnaround for a new map was, and most likely was being worked on during the wildfires in California. While it feels like a filler map, I just want to appreciate the dev team for doing a great job even though it was probably rushed. With that out of the way, let's get into the main points I have for this review. Those will be map elements like visual environment and gameplay elements, as well as Easter eggs, both side and main, and general gameplay. Starting off with the environment is skyboxes. While pretty lackluster, each skybox fits the map extremely well. Both Spawn and the Dark Ether Nexus or the Crazy Place have very well fitting skyboxes for the environment they're in. I don't have too much to say about each of them because the main skybox is only seen in the Spawn, but the Crazy Place, while it is only a PNG, looks fantastic in my opinion. It's nothing compared to the skybox in Revelations, which was a huge argument when the tomb was released. It still feels very fitting, and it's only a small portion of the map, so I don't have too much to complain about. Moving away from the skyboxes, let's focus on the main floor of the map. The only thing I dislike about the main floor is that it can be very dark. If you don't have your brightness turned up, it may be a little difficult to see, but everything except the Spawn is underground, and thematically, the dark environment fits the map very well. Map fluidity is a little tricky to evaluate, but this is mainly how well the map fits together, how fast you can move through the whole map, and how connected it feels. Smaller maps are going to be easier to navigate, so I'll mainly focus on shortcuts and fast travel locations. In my opinion, this map feels very well put together. It is mainly just a glorified circle, but progressing through the map is very simple and satisfying. Additionally, I like that there isn't just one location for the portals to the Dark Ether. It makes the map very easy to move through and makes it satisfying going from one side of the map to the other. The Pack-a-Punch camos on this map are by far my favorite compared to the Pap camos on other maps. Very reminiscent of camos we've seen in earlier games. I do really like the evolution style camos through each Pap tier, and I'm really excited to see if they continue with styles like this, and I hope they don't go back to putting beans on our guns. The zombie models are fantastic and fit the aesthetic of this map very well. Every map that we've had so far has had the same models excluding the night zombies and Citadel. Hopefully they continue to match the zombie models to each map's theme in the future. Perk and Pap locations are kind of a wild card. The perk locations I feel are very well placed, although it's hard to put them in bad locations because the map itself is very small. On the other hand, we have Pack-a-Punch. I'm not the biggest fan of moving the Pack-a-Punch around, but it was very well executed in the tomb and Terminus. My only gripe I have with it moving on the tomb is that it's not really explained why or how it moves. Maybe there's a piece of intel that explains it, but I assume a lot of people, me included, don't really look at each piece of intel. However, that is the only problem I have with the Pack-a-Punch locations. Almost all zombie games have multiple zombie types. Most of them are small like Hellhounds and Nova 6 crawlers, but some are bosses like the Panzer or the Margwa. Since those games, they've added more and more different zombies, and while it's great to have a variety of enemies in games, sometimes it can get overwhelming. For some reason, instead of 2 or 3 zombie types, we have 6, and those are regular zombies. I'll include armored zombies as regular zombies. Then we have vermin, parasites, shock mimics, doppelgasts, and amalgams. It's great to not have to see manglers, but having this many types and another reused enemy is kind of annoying. In my opinion, having evolutions through the zombie types is really cool, however, mimics have no evolution and in my opinion don't really fit well within this map. While there is lore behind why there are mimics and why the first mimic you kill in the map drops the monocle, it definitely feels like it was just shoved in there to have another new enemy type. While the traps do feel very fitting in the map, they were very lackluster in my opinion. I like that the ethereal lanterns were used in the egg, but the wall darts were just kind of there. The first time I played, I forgot they were even in the map, and I was even more disappointed to find out that they weren't used in the Easter egg. While not every map needs to use every trap included, it would be nice to see some use even if it's small. Maybe there's a side Easter egg that uses the darts. While not every map has a free rarity upgrade, it is really nice gameplay wise to have side Easter eggs that give the player a free upgrade to their weapons or the player. Additionally, having the free rarity upgrades scale to what round you're on is a nice touch, and I hope they keep doing it in future maps. The free pack crystal is also a new addition to the map, and while I like that it's easy to do, I wish that it scaled to what round you're on like the rarity upgrade. Although it's something easy to do and saves you 5,000 points, it would be cool to see a difference in the crystal tier the higher you get into the rounds. The golden armor Easter egg fits very well in this map, and I hope we see some future iterations of this egg. While the fight is very difficult, it's well worth it to get the armor if you're not going for a speed run on the Easter egg. I feel the ice staff is in a really good place. While it's underpowered against mini bosses without the hand cannon glitch, we can all agree that Treyarch never intended for that to be in the game. It was fun for a while, but I'll be honest, I used it with a buddy of mine to get to around 100, and it definitely made that challenge extremely easy, so I'm glad they made that fix. Now let's talk about the steps to build it. While the steps for the parts are very cool, it just seems too simplified. I wish that we were able to get one of the parts out of the dig sites like in Origins, since this map is supposed to be a callback to it. Other than that, the 2 lockdowns are fun to do for each piece. Moving on to upgrading it, the frozen crystals are a little strange to me. Having to shoot 3 crystals in around 10-ish seconds seems too obscure. While it's too simple to have them all be frozen at the same time, I feel it would have fit better if you shot and froze all of them in a certain amount of time rather than just 3, or if some of them were slightly different and those were the correct 3 to shoot. Now onto the rocks. In my opinion, the symbols are a little too small and sometimes they refuse to load incorrectly and it makes it difficult to input the correct symbols. This happened to me many times when I played this map, and I wish they'd make the symbols a little bigger. The last lockdown is pretty fun, but not super challenging. Realistically, you can only kill the regular zombies and you'll still be able to finish it, and I wish it was an actual soul box rather than just an escort step mixed with a kill check. Since we're done talking about half the Easter egg, let's move on to the main steps. The main Easter egg in this map is much more simple than what we had in Citadel and Terminus. Much like Liberty Falls, the Easter egg was easy to set up and the boss fight locks you in a small area, clearing waves of zombies that increase in difficulty the farther you get into the fight. While the structuring of the steps feels a little off to me, I really like when maps have environmental effects that change the way the map looks. Like in Ancient Evil with all the light reflecting off the massive mirrors, I hope they keep doing this kind of thing. It's an extremely cool detail that shows visual progress on the Easter egg. Now the one thing that feels off to me about the steps is that every Chaos map starts with you activating the Sentinel artifact to start the trial. I feel they should have started with the final boss room open and the Sentinel artifact being there for the taking, but when you interact with it, it kicks you out of the boss room, breaks the bridge, and starts the trial of defeating those 4 mini boss fights. Additionally, activating the Sentinel artifact would open Pack Punch and more of the portals rather than just opening all of them the moment you put the amulet down. Other than what I feel is a misplacement of steps, this egg is really fun. Each of the special lockdowns increase in difficulty and are very fun to do other than having to deal with the parasite step. I'm not sure if this is still a bug, but back when the map released, parasites could still drop their orbs and you could pick them up after you finish the step, soft locking you until you pick up the charged dark orb and place it into the pedestal. Now let's move on to the boss fight. Before the hand cannon patch, the boss fight was extremely easy and was pretty much guaranteed, but after the patch and before people found out about the glitch, it was extremely difficult. While I do enjoy the more complex boss fights we've seen in these maps, this one is the least fun in my opinion. Not because it's hard, but because the first 4 phases you just sit in the middle with the ice staff and deal damage when you're able, but when the damageable artifacts are transferred to the increasingly difficult zombies, it makes it less and less fun. Allowing the zombies to stun you in the same way the artifact does just isn't the right way to balance it. Especially with the doppelgasts. They can run just as fast as the player and allows them to pretty much insta-kill you. In my opinion, the best way to balance it is to keep the health the same but remove the stun effect, forcing the player to run around the map a bit more and being careful not to run into the artifact's lasers while dealing damage to the artifact zombie until the final phase. One last thing to talk about before the end is the cutscene. As most people know, there's no dialogue between the characters, and the only voice lines in it are from Sam telling us that we need to go to the mansion for the next map. It sucks that Treyarch is being petty about being able to use AI for voice acting. Adding new characters that need new voice lines came at a perfect time since everyone wanted a dedicated crew, but Treyarch, for whatever reason they have, don't want to pay their actors. It just sucks that we had a good streak of new maps that were very exciting for new and returning players, but Treyarch ruined it because of that reason. Although I'm a big fan of Treyarch zombies, this is a huge mistake that's going to cause the downfall of the story if it isn't resolved soon. A lot of people say this map is filler and is pretty mid, which I agree with, but in my opinion, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Out of all the maps we have so far, I'd rate Citadel as being my favorite, and both Liberty Falls and Terminus have an even spot above the Tomb. For a casual map, the Tomb is perfect for chilling and going for high rounds. It has a really nice map layout with a fun and powerful wonder weapon, and I think it gets too much hate. All of the maps that we have so far are better than anything we had in Cold War except Mauer, and I'd probably put it above the Tomb if I were ranking them. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my rant, go ahead and like the video. The channel's goal right now is 500 subscribers, and with your support we can make it happen. If you agree or disagree, or have something of your own you'd like to add, or something you think I missed, go ahead and leave a comment. My mind is open to criticism, and I want to see what you guys think. Have a great rest of your day or night. Peace.